Why did David go to war with the Ammonites? This is the question that we seek to answer today as we continue our verse by verse study of the book of 2 Samuel on walking through the Bible.
Of his word, the glory of his cross.
Today we're going to be discussing 2 Samuel chapter 10 verses 1 to 8. Before we do that, let's read the passage. If you have a Bible with you, you can turn to 2 Samuel chapter 10 verse 1, but if you don't have a Bible, don't worry, just follow along with us on the screen. The version that we'll be reading from is the New King James Version. So 2 Samuel chapter 10, beginning at verse 1. It happened after this that the king of the people of Ammon died, and Hanun his son reigned in his place. Then David said, I will show kindness to Hanun the son of Nahash, as his father showed kindness to me. So David sent by the hand of his servants to comfort him concerning his father. And David's servants came to the land of the people of Ammon. And the princes of the people of Ammon said to Hanun their lord, Do you think that David really honors your father because he has sent comforters to you? Has David not rather sent his servants to search the city and to spy it out and to overthrow it? Therefore Hanun took David's servants, shaved off half of their beards, cut off their garments in the middle at their buttocks, and sent them away. When they told David, he sent to meet them, because the men were greatly ashamed. And the king said, Wait at Jericho until your beards have grown, and then return. When the people of Ammon saw that they had made themselves repulsive to David, the people of Ammon sent and hired the Syrians of Beth-rehob and the Syrians of Zobah, 20,000 foot soldiers, and from the king of Maacah 1,000 men, and from Ishtob 12,000 men. And when David heard of it, he sent Joab and all the army of the mighty men. And the people of Ammon came out and put themselves in battle array at the entrance of the gate. And the Syrians of Zobah, Beth-rehob, Ishtob, and Maacah were by themselves in the field. Setting events in chronological order is sometimes difficult when studying through the Old Testament or even in the Gospels. Unlike our modern society, which places a premium on order of events, such wasn't the case of the peoples of the time in the writing of 2 Samuel. Chapter 8 served as a summary of the battles of David to take control of all the land promised to Abraham. We said that those battles didn't occur overnight, not even back to back, showing us that David's conquests were gradual over years. We don't even have an exact time for the events of chapter 9, only being able to surmise that they likely occurred around the 15th year of David's reign at a minimum. Chapter 10 seems to go back in time to expand upon the victories of David that we read of in chapter 8 and to set up the events of chapters 11 and 12, for some of the same characters we read of as David defeating in chapter 8 are here in chapter 10. Verse 1 of chapter 10 tells us that the king of Ammon died and that Hanun reigned in his place. Hanun is referred to as the son of Nahash. If this name sounds familiar, it should, for Nahash was the Ammonite king who attacked Jabesh Gilead back near the beginning of Saul's reign in 1 Samuel 11. Now we know that the phrase son of can mean literal son, or it can mean grandson, or simply descendant. So whether Hanun was the actual son of Nahash, we don't know for sure. But seeing as how only 50 to 60 years have passed since 1 Samuel 11, it is quite possible that Hanun is the literal son of Nahash. Regardless, whoever Hanun's father was, that father had shown kindness to David, likely because Saul was against David, and as the saying goes, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And so, because Hanun's father had shown kindness to David, David wanted to return the favor and show compassion to Hanun upon his ascension to the throne, as that necessitated the death of Hanun's father. In order to do this, David sent some servants to Hanun. This action, though, wasn't seen as an act of compassion by the princes of the people of Ammon, but rather as an opportunity for David to send out spies so that he could soon take the land, for by that time David probably had already dealt with the Philistines and Moabites. Agreeing with his princes, Hanun took David's servants, shaved off half their beards, cut their garments off in the middle all the way up to the buttocks, and sent them away. Shaving off any part of the beard by an adversary was seen as an act of indignity by the people of that time, and the same attitude would be held towards what was done to these servants' clothing. When word came to David what had happened, he came to these men, for they were greatly ashamed to come to him. And David told them to remain at Jericho until their beards had grown back, and then they were to return to him back in Jerusalem. Now Jericho was likely still abandoned at this time, as we won't see it rebuilt until the days of Ahab, but that there was a settlement close to here at the Jordan River should be expected, and it seems to be that that is the case here. Knowing that what they had done would be seen as an act of war to David, the Ammonites prepared for battle. They hired Syrians from the north as well as men from other nations in the north to come and assist them in battle. This fact is how we know that chapter 10 takes us back in time, for these peoples were subdued by David in chapter 8 and placed under tribute. And since it is not said here in chapter 10 that these people rebelled against David, it is safe to assume that it was because of this battle that occasion came to David to subdue them in the first place. All told, the Ammonites had hired 33,000 soldiers to help them in battle. These soldiers were placed in the field, which 1 Chronicles 19 will identify as Medeba, a city about 6.5 kilometers or 4 miles southwest of Reba, the capital of Ammon. The Ammonites themselves were at Reba, prepared for battle with the armies of David. We'll see how this battle progresses, the Lord willing, in the next lesson. With that, our time is up for today. Tomorrow we will be taking a one-day break and will return, the Lord willing, on Saturday, April 8th, 2023. When we return, we'll take up with 2 Samuel chapter 10, verses 9 to 19. We hope that you'll come back and join us in that discussion when we will continue our walk through the Bible, one verse at a time. Thank you for watching today's episode. We hope that you found it edifying and ask that you not only subscribe to our channel and podcast, but that you like and share this episode among your friends so that the saving gospel of Jesus Christ can go out to the whole world.